So you guys told me to check out the complete compilation of Larry Bird's greatest stories told by NBA players. And I'm just wondering how the creator of this video was able to compile all this. Like, I can't imagine the hard work that gets into sitting down and compiling all this from different snippets from different players. That is crazy. Shout out to the creator of this video, and I hope he made enough money from this video. I don't know whether the video is copyrighted on YouTube, but I hope he made a lot of money from this video, because I think the video has over 1 million views. So I hope he made his money, because this is some work. Can't imagine what needs to get into that, sitting down and looking for different snippets of different NBA players talking about a particular NBA player. That must be hard. That must be really hard. Let's get right into it.
Welcome to the complete collection of Larry Bird's greatest stories. The first episode of this series was an episode on Kobe Bryant, the complete collection of Kobe Bryant's greatest stories.
Oh, there's a one for Kobe Bryant.
Or you did miss the upload, feel free to
I'll
watch
definitely
it on
check
the
that
channel.
out.
But the amount of support on that video was incredible, and I really just want to thank all of you guys for that support.
Wow.
Kobe was someone who meant a lot to me, as he did for, I'm sure, all of you guys too, and hopefully that video did him justice. Today we're looking at Larry Bird's greatest stories. And because these videos take such a long time to make, the only thing that I ask is that if you enjoy this video, you can please hit that like button, subscribe.
You guys wonder why I like Kobe so much. It's not just about the basketball. A lot of motivational things that he used to say really resonated to me. And as someone that has gone through some depression in my life, I've never really been fully happy, to be honest. I've never really been fully happy. Not that I'm suicidal or anything, but I've never really been fully happy. Listening to Kobe, made me to start looking at life in terms of, like, I don't know whether you guys used to hear all these motivational speeches by Kobe. I know it's not really, he didn't say it on the basketball course, but all these interviews that he has, the interviews, I've watched compilation of his interviews. Like, the guy is crazy. The guy was a motivational king. I'm telling you, like, I'm not even sure. I don't think any other person that has been able to actually motivate me as much as Kobe has that whole Mamba mentality stuff. So listening to him actually made me to feel like, okay, yeah, my life may not be the best, but I can always change it. It's in my hands. And I know all that can just sound like a bunch of bullshit, because at the end of the day, you can do everything that you do and you still fail. But the point of the matter is that you have to try. You can't just sit down and believe that, oh, it's not possible, I cannot do it. You just have to try. Because the worst thing in this life is to not try out things. It's like this YouTube thing. I've never been someone that has been, popular guy, outgoing guy and all that. And when I wanted to start YouTube, I was like, am I even sure I want to do this? Put myself out there to a lot of people around the world. Like, am I even sure I want to do this? But the worst thing in this life is not to actually try. At least if I try and I fail and it's terrible, and I will know that I tried. I did what I had to do. Now, if it fails, fine. But you have to try. So that was one of the messages that I got from the motivational speeches from Kobe. So that is one of the reasons that, like, it's not, obviously he got me into basketball, but it's really his motivational speeches that made me to cry when this guy passed away. I don't usually cry that much. Only my dad that I cried for. I can't remember when last I cried outside of my dad and Kobe. I didn't really cry. I didn't cry as much as my dad for Kobe, but tears came out from my eyes. So it's really, people don't really understand why people like this guy. It's not just about his basketball and all that, but just crazy.
Well, you had the bird night.
I had the bird night.
Yeah, I've seen this one.
That was a tough night, man.
And he would tell you to play and catch it over there and shoot it.
Larry Bird, he was not a nice guy.
He was talking trash all the time, man, but fun.
And they called a timeout, and he turned around and looked at me and said, I'm going to score right here on you.
And he came back out and hit about 10 in a row on me, and the last one was left-handed, and he asked me if my mother was watching.
It just came out. And he never shook hands. 13 years.
Oh, man. What the... This Larry Bird guy was so vulgar. What the hell? Imagine dropping a 3 on someone. Oh, I hope your mom is watching.
Well, you had the bird night.
I had the
in
bird
New
night.
Orleans.
That was a tough night, man. The biggest argument that night is, well, you only scored 6 on me.
But nobody was guarding Bird, were they?
Well, we were trying.
You were trying to.
No, but when a guy is literally coming up the court, calling his shots, and Bird talked a lot of trash.
And that's in New Orleans.
That's in New Orleans.
You were playing the Hawks, and it was one of those times they were playing some home games down in New Orleans.
In New Orleans, I'll never forget that game. He was so hot, he started shooting threes with his left hand.
And it was in a neutral site, and I know that Larry was always telling the ball boys, hey, go find out the scoring record. As he was getting taped on the tape table, he would always say, hey, go find out the scoring record in this gym.
Going into that game, I thought there might be a ray of sunshine because one of the bellmen told me that he had heard that Larry and a couple of his teammates may have gotten in a little bit late the night before. So I was saying, hey, maybe Larry won't have a real good night.
Bird, the bomb. Bird, the fall away. Bird out of the left corner. The bomb is good.
To say that Larry had a hot hand is an understatement without question.
He was calling shots off the glass. Who's next?
Doc Rivers.
Where you want this one from? And he just made one after another. When he got to about the 55th point, you knew it was something special. He
fell in a bench.
Oh, he did.
And he called that one. That was the one where he fell in it. He literally said, off the glass into the trainer. And, and so it was a bad night.
It's going to be a 3, and it's going to be awful decent. Then he said, who wants it? And I think Ricky Brown, I'm not for sure who it was, ran out after him. And he shot this high rainbow. It goes in. Ricky bumps into him and accidentally knocks him on our trainer's lap. So it was exactly what he said.
Antoine Carr and Cliff Levingston got fined by Fratello, I think.
And Eddie Johnson for celebrating.
Celebrating Bird.
Yeah, it was the best film session. Every time when I see Mike, we still laugh.
God,
it was
it
was the greatest film session ever because back then you didn't have, you watched the real game and just went, with a video. And Mike rewound the celebration 20 times. He just kept, not the shot, he just kept rewinding it, showing the guys, you remember they were giving each other high five.
And then somebody falls off the bench,
Yeah,
too.
that was Eddie Johnson.
Yeah.
Eddie Johnson falls off the bench in laughter.
I mean, everybody was entertained by this. Even
That's one
the guys on the guys on the Atlanta
They
bench.
got fined for that, I heard.
Yeah. Watch this. Watch the reactions on the Atlanta bench. You see Scotty Hastings put them.
When you get
now watch Cliff Levingston over here. I think this is Cliff.
You at the three-point competition, walking in the locker room. Who's playing? Did you really say that? Who's playing for second?
Yeah, I did. I felt so bad.
Yeah, when you walked in and asked who was going to get second place in the three-point contest, when you walked up,
Look at him.
what were you thinking when you made that announcement to the room? Just messing with all those guys like you always did.
Yeah,
with everybody?
I didn't. I had no clue. I never really practiced. Me and Danny used to shoot some before we went out there. Everybody's sitting there. Everybody's real quiet. You really didn't. You knew the guys, but you never were around them.
Three-point contest at the All-Star break, and Larry walks in and says, I hope all you guys in here are thinking about second place because I'm winning this. Excuse me?
Who were some of the guys in the competition at that time when you walked in? Who was in that field?
Come on, Coach.
Man, the confidence is out of this world, man. And the funny thing about this thing is that the three-point contest is not really unlike things that you can exert your athleticism, like you can exert your physicality. Three-point contest, at the end of the day, even if you are Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time, but even he has not won all the three-point contests that he has competed at. It's still a lottery at the end of the day. Making three-pointers, even if on average some people are better than others, it's not still something that you are sure of. So the fact that this guy had the confidence to just come in here and tell them, look, we better prepare for second place. Like, what the hell? This guy was...
No, I don't really remember.
Dale Ellis.
Yeah, Dale. What's
Hodges.
the kid that's Hodges.
Leon Wood.
And I'm sitting there with one of my teammates, Leon Wood. It was a great three-point shooter. Larry Bird comes in last.
And nobody's really saying anything, so I walk in and look around, and it just came out.
He says,
who's coming in second? You already know who's going to win this.
It was so quiet. And after that, I said, oh, man, these guys ain't got no chance.
And I got lucky because I almost got beat in the first round.
But what was the reaction after you said that? Like, oh, that's just Larry Legend, or did it get dead silence in there?
It was silence. I think they were a little nervous.
I like it.
I think they were nervous. I had no clue I was going to win it. But you know, that's just part of the competition.
There you see Larry finishing off. Look at that smooth rhythm. The shot, one step back, pick it up, the shot. Back and forth.
Everything swish, 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 swish. Not even hitting it's just swish, swish.
Is like a machine, and the results are almost like a machine.
He ain't took off his top yet. I didn't see when he took off his top. Hey, it's hard to shoot after Bird just made 23.
And then the walk off with your
Jordan.
hand up. I mean, come on, coach. Come on.
What the hell?
Well,
Swish.
I was struggling in that final round.
Okay, that one was like
I know
swish.
that. And I just got hot there the last 2.5 racks. You know, when you're shooting them, you don't know what the score is.
Right.
But I had a feeling by the way the crowd was going, I had to make the last one. And when I let it go, I felt it. You know, sometimes you shoot them, you think they're going in, they don't. But that one there looked perfect all the way. So if it would have bounced out, I would have felt like an idiot.
Well,
but it went in. I got lucky and got the check and went home.
Yo! And Larry Bird at the buzzer with the two-point ball. 17-15 defends the long-distance shootout crowd at Chicago Stadium.
He and Ainge, I think, were both in the three-point contest together, and Larry won the contest. And then one day we got on the bus, and we were on the bus for a few minutes, and Larry said to Ainge, he goes, "Hey, Danny," and Danny goes, "Yeah, Larry." He goes, "Who's the three-point king?" You know.
Larry Bird. He was not a nice guy.
Back then when we flew commercial,
What
we didn't fly private. We played in a Tuesday night game in Cleveland.
Matter of fact, there was one game in Cleveland.
And he told me where he was going and where he was going to shoot.
Nah, I won't hear about it.
Okay?
I won't hear about it.
It was 91-92 season, and we was playing the Boston Celtics. It was Bird, McHale, Parrish, the great three, Ainge, and we was up 1. Okay?
Where he was having a pretty rough first half, and in the old days in Cleveland, you walked off the court the same way at halftime, and I kind of puffed up on him and walked beside him and was like, "Yeah, you're 1 for 10.
Damn.
That's defense, you know." And he just kind of looked at me and said, "There's 2 halves." And he came back out and hit about 10 in a row on me.
And we was up 1. Okay? He said, "Who's guarding me?" As we come out of timeout. Now remember, I'm a rookie because Price is out because he hurt.
Right.
He says, "Who's guarding me?" I says, "Craig Elo." He says, "Why you got that white boy on me?"
Okay, yes. It seems this is something that he always likes saying, because this is a different person. Charles Barkley said his own. This guy also said his own. So that means probably like something that he used to say all the time. Why did you always feel like white guys were useless defensively? Like, why did... I get it. They're not as athletic as black people. I get it. At least stereotypically. But him as a white man who was not athletic like that, saying that, I guess it's actually very fun, because when you can actually make fun of yourself while actually trash talking, it's actually very, very great if you look at it.
Don't put no white boy on me.
He said that was the most.
Now remember, Larry Bird is white.
Right.
And the last one was left-handed, and he asked me if my mother was watching.
You have to remind them. Remember, Larry Bird is white.
I think the story that sums up Larry the best was we had a game on Wednesday night in New Jersey. Snowstorm hits Cleveland. We're at the airport at 7 in the morning. Flight's canceled at 7. It's canceled at 8. It's canceled at 9. It's canceled at 10. Canceled at 11, 12. We finally leave about 1:30 or 2 in the afternoon. We fly up to New Jersey. Now the storm has kind of moved into Jersey. And the bus driver says, "Well, I can't get to the hotel into the arena. I can only go to one place." Well, we had a game that night. We go to the arena. So we get to the arena, and I mean, we're dragging. And we're sitting around the locker room, and, you know, and everybody's kind of
we're tired, and and all of a sudden, the coach gives a little bit of a speech of, "Come on, man, guys, we're playing basketball. Let's get ready to go." And Larry stands up, and Larry says, a couple other few choice words, and he says, "I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to take it out on their rear ends." So I was like, "Oh, all right, so let's go." So we go on the floor. Albert King sitting there. Larry walks up to Albert King and goes, "Don't take this butt whooping personally. I've been eating hot dogs all day." And then Albert King looks at him like, "You've been eating hot dogs all day? What's that got to do with me?" And we went out and just hammered him. I mean, we terrorized him. And that was Larry. There was no excuses. I mean, he just played. And I tell you, that was just his competitive nature. But a day when you fly all day and eat hot dogs in the airport, best thing was Albert's look on his face like, what hot dogs got to do with me?
I still love the Xavier McDaniel story.
Anybody better than Larry Bird?
No, Larry's probably the best trash talker. And the best thing about Larry now, he's so buttoned down now. He's just like, I didn't do that. I said, man, that guy lies. He was the best trash talker. And he denies everything.
Can you tell a Larry story? I haven't heard much of him, any stories about him talking trash, and he's so quiet.
Yes.
Just every other time, and I never got to play on the court or see. But can you tell a story like something you remember?
One of there's a million of them, but one of my favorite ones is, we're playing Phoenix, and we're way ahead, okay?
The Celtics were playing the Suns, and
we're down in the old Saddle Dome that they had outside.
Right.
And Larry, we're playing good as a team. Larry has the worst fourth quarter known to man. I mean, he's throwing the ball to the other team. I'm like, good Lord, we had like a 15-point lead. Next thing you know, we're down 2. And I'm like, how in the world are we going to lose this game, man?
So we have a play, out of bounds play. I'm taking it out, and Larry says, I'm going to bust off the play, and I'm just going to come out, and I'm going to shoot a 3. And I'm like...
And Larry says, I'm going to bust the play. I'm going to shoot a 3. And I'm like, Bertie, let's just get into overtime. I'm going to Robert. Robert, we need to get into overtime, man. Try to get this ship right, because we're sinking, man. I tell you right now.
Celtics are down by 2 points, and Bird is out by the 3-point line, and he's being guarded by a guy named Johnny High. And Johnny High is sort of backing away from Bird, and Bird says, hey, Johnny, you better come up and guard me a little closer. I'm just going to get the ball and shoot a 3, and the game's over.
Larry not only tells me that, he walks by the bench and says, typical Birdie, just real slow.
So he tells the Phoenix bench, he tells the coaches, yeah, I'm just fixing to bust a 3 on you guys and just go home. I'm tired of this.
Fixing to bust a 3 on your guys and go home.
And, Johnny High sort of smiles and laughs about it.
And so he breaks the play.
And then the ball comes into Bird. He just turns around and shoots a perfect 3.
Wait, what I'm going to say is now, why? Because yes, Bird is capable of making this 3, but why didn't they try to stop him from getting the ball? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, even if it's to me, after that trash talk that he did, like, it was very clear that he was going to make the shots. He was going to take that shot. Double team him. Don't allow him to get the ball. That is very possible. Very, very possible, right? I'm not even talking about the fact that, that Bird may not be able to make the shots. Just don't let him get the ball. Seriously. Like, that's terrible.
Shoots the ball. As the ball's in the air, he kind of turns towards the Phoenix bench and yells, told you so. He's out running to the locker room.
He was pointing.
He looks at the bench and goes, told you so.
Unreal, man. As he's walking off, he puts an arm on Johnny High's shoulder and he goes, Johnny, I told you to come out and guard me.
That was Birdie. He had the confidence, man. That dude had so much confidence. He talked to the coaches. He talked to everybody. He was talking trash all the time, man. But fun. Great competitor, man.
And I just started laughing. I was like, oh, man. It's just one of those ones where you just kind of, he has such supreme confidence. And it was just, but that's the one when you were back in and Larry went in and said, well, I won the game in the first 3 quarters, then I lost it in the third quarter, or the fourth quarter, excuse me. Then I won it at the end. He goes, my record tonight is 2-1. We all
high game. They had the ball, and DJ was stalling the basketball. Larry was kind of standing outside behind him, like denying him the ball. And they called a timeout, and he turned around and looked at me and said, I'm going to score right here on you. And I said, I know you will. I'll be ready.
Tie game. 13 seconds to play. Celtics basketball.
During the timeout, I'm going through a play, and about that time, Larry steps in and says, Coach, why don't you just give me the ball and tell everybody to get out of the way? That's Larry. When he wants the ball, he wants the ball. After the timeout, we walked back on the court, and then Xavier was guarding him. So he tells Xavier, he says, I'm getting the ball.
And Larry said, I'm going to get it right here, Ed, and I'm going to shoot it in your face. He hit it and he looked at me and he was like, damn, I didn't even leave nothing on the clock. He shot a shot right in my face.
I just looked back and the ball just went in, hit off net, and he said, I told you so.
And you know, he was like, I didn't mean to leave 2 seconds on the clock. He wanted to shoot it with 0 seconds on the clock. I walked back to the sideline like, damn.
2 things, 1 game. You know, our rotations, double teaming Kevin McHale always had to rotate to the corner, and Larry Bird was the one shooting it. You know, so he shot one, and I mean, I'm trying to block this shot, and he would just tell me, Scott, you're a little too late. You know, a little too late. So we playing them in the last play. He says to James Worthy, he says, you guys don't have to worry about it. I'm going to go right over there that corner. He said, they're going to set a screen for me. We're taking the ball out. He said, I'm going to curl right over. And he's telling us to play. He's telling us to play before they even take it out. He said, I'm going to go right over to that corner, and I'm going to catch it, and I'm going to shoot it, and I'm going to tie the game or win the game, whatever the case may be. They take the ball out, and I think it was either Danny or
DJ?
The late, great DJ.
Yeah.
Take the ball out, the man curl right to the corner, caught the shot, shot a 3, game over. It's like, are you effing kidding me? It's my Larry Bird story.
The confidence is crazy. Can you imagine playing with a teammate like that, a superstar like that, with so much confidence? Even I were a role player that was not that good, I would feel so confident about myself.
God, and go shake. And Larry put both hands behind his back. He wouldn't shake my hand. I said, okay, he's just getting into the game. First play of the game, he said, you don't even belong in this league, Holmes. And he shoots a 3. Now, I wasn't mad that he made the 3. But I said, there's some bitch this called me Holmes. and he came down and did it again.
Guys, in my last video, you need to see how I laughed about this stuff. Obviously, I've heard it before. That's why I'm not laughing that much. In case you have not watched that last video, Larry Bird's trash talking, I'll put the link down in the description and the comments. You can go and check it out. But I wanted to laugh myself. I was killing myself in that particular statement I just made, because I know that Holmes is black hood people that use that word. White people don't use it. So the fact that Larry Bird was using it was crazy to me. Like, laugh wanted to kill me. I wanted to die of laughter.
Didn't Bird shoot left-handed for an entire game against Portland?
Larry told all of us and the media, he said, tomorrow night's the last game of the trip. I'm going to play this one left-handed.
I remember because I was there, and it was at a time when McHale was still coming off the bench, and so he scored the first 8 points of the game left-handed, and Jerome Kersey was guarding him at the time, and I remember this because we had a great trash-talking team. I mean, we had ML Carr, we had McHale, we had Bird, we had Ainge was a yacker. I mean, we had guys with great creativity with that, and I'll never forget it. McHale yells out, "Hey Jerome, wait till you start shooting right-handed." I mean, but like you're talking about one of the great, obviously great players, great competitors. But Bird was a great artist too.
Wow.
Who's got Larry Bird stories?
Brad Daugherty told me this story when he was second year in the league, and they were in the playoffs against the Celtics. Down 1, Larry Bird catches the ball in the deep corner, and he steps back for a 3. And before he takes the 3, he's like, oh, wow, he's going for the win. He's not going for the tie.
Larry Bird catches the ball in the corner. I take off running out at Larry Bird. And right when he's getting ready to shoot, I jump.
And he head fakes him.
And as I go by, him, he tells me, he says, "Fly, Bird."
And as he head fakes him, now it's 3-2, he hits him on the butt with the ball.
What?
And then he shoots it at the buzzer. And the confidence that hit him on the butt.
What the hell?
Trying to block a shot.
and I go right by him, he shoots the ball, it's nothing but nylon.
What?
I remember the time when Larry got on the roll, started shooting the ball. Every shot was going in.
Goodbye, she's gone. I guess the 2-pointer was too close.
When he ran by the bench, he goes, that's a heat check. Just see how hot I am. All right, it runs by Frank Layden, who's the funniest guy in the league. And Frank is coaching, and Larry says to him, hey, Frank, don't you have anybody on that bench that can guard me? He goes, so nobody out here can. Frank looked down the bench and goes, no.
I've heard that before in that other video.
But Bird didn't talk trash to you, did
Oh,
he?
my God. Bird talked trash to everybody.
But didn't he? Did he get to a point where he had respect for it?
It seems Charles is going to say that story, that story that almost killed me in the last video.
I always tell this story about Larry Bird. I remember he was cursing under his breath. And I asked him, I said, Larry, what's going on with you? He says, you guys are being disrespectful to me. And I says, what are you talking about? He says, you guys are putting a white guy on me. That's disrespectful.
Wait, who's the white guy you put on him?
I can't remember who it was.
That would never stop being funny. That would never stop being funny. Jesus Christ.
I just started laughing. I had no comeback. He says, it's disrespectful when y'all put a white guy on me.
Here he was out there with a quarter of black guys out there talking trash with him, and the rest of the fellas are sitting there going, hey, the boy bad, what can you say?
I remember we were playing Washington in Washington one night, and Larry just hit what would have been the game-winning shot, but KC called timeout.
Won't count. It does not count. Boston had called a timeout.
Larry came back to the bench, and he was a little upset. He looks at the bench and says, hey guys, when I come back after timeout, I'm going to go right to the same spot, and I'm going to kick it in. He told Washington, I'm going to get the ball.
2 seconds left. The Bullets by 1. Aims to Bird. He gets a good shot into Celtics winner. Boy, this is something else. Incredible. And Bird wins it at the buzzer.
How many people you know would talk to the other team like this and says, I'm going to stick it in your face?
Wow, that was... There were some of them there that obviously some people that may be watching this video will be disappointed by the reaction. I've already seen it before, so no need for me to pretend like I haven't seen it and just start laughing and all that. I already reacted to some of them in the last video. If you have not checked it out, I'll put the link in the description for you to check it out. But all in all, this was really, really interesting. I was told to just watch the full compilation and everything. So I think I'm done with Larry Bird's trash talking videos for now. Except new ones come out, but for now, this should be all. Wow, that was nice. I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. Hit the like button if you did. Send this video out to more people. I really appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.